at the root of it, you are irritated that President Assad is still in power and is in your way from extracting the oil and resources that will further the needs of America, greed, and also you are helping Israel. You are Israel's bully, right? So if they were irritated in 2013, how anxious do you think they are in 2018? What do you think they would do? And for, unfortunately, so many gullible people who put their trust in a lying government, who would believe from the jump weapons of mass destruction or chemical warfare. You may say, well, Brother Amon, that's something that Minister Farrakhan said 5 years ago, and this is a new day, and this is a new time, and we have a new, and I have to swallow, take a drink of water before I say President Donald J. Trump, who is the embodiment of the picture of white privilege, that man can even be president at this time. So as I reflected on that, I thought that I would share also one more thing, an article that I read on, that was published April the 9th, 2018, this year. Top UN inspector, Assad not responsible for chemical weapons. Now, here, this article, now I don't want to suck up all of our time, but just to highlight, a former director of UN weapons inspectors has said that the Syrian government is not responsible for the recent chemical weapons attack and claims the attack is an attempt to topple Bashar al-Assad. Dozens of people were killed in the rebel-held town of Douma on Saturday in an attack President Putin and others described as a false flag perpetrated by the Al-Qaeda affiliated White Helmets group. And then on Sunday night, 2 Israeli F-15 fighters targeted a Syrian military airbase in the Homs province, firing 8 guided missiles at the airport, killing 14 soldiers. Now, this chemical weapons expert, listen to his words. The gentleman's name is Ike Selstrom, who investigated the use of chemical weapons in both Iraq and Syria in times past. He said it is unlikely that Bashar al-Assad and the Syrian army were responsible for the attack in eastern Ghouta. He said, with great criticism from the international community, Assad and Russians bombard Ghouta bit by bit, and they would add the opportunity to be they would add the opportunity to be criticized for using chemicals. It feels strange. They don't need it. Their tactics are already successful. This is what Mr. Selstrom said, adding that there could be numerous other explanations for the attack. He stated that if the United Nations was to investigate the attack, recordings and testimony would not be enough to ascertain what happened. Quote, we would have to meet people and doctors themselves, and in particular need samples from the environment and poisoned persons, said Selstrom, adding it would be difficult to measure chlorine exposure because it evaporates so quickly and does not leave any clear markers in the body. I'll stop right there from that article. So these are experts who are asking very solid questions, and we must reflect. We must think. Have we seen any of these tests? Have we heard the remarks and studies from these doctors? And what about good video food? Now the people of Syria, they have some technology. They have cell phones. They have the ability to broadcast video footage. What have we seen that they have produced? What I'm saying and suggesting, dear brother, we have no reason whatsoever to believe the reports that we are receiving from our government that Syria is doing all of these things in the name of destroying its own people. I would take that with a grain of salt. And as the minister has shared with us many times, it is America's greed and her desire to take all of the resources that she can from every nation that she can, along with being the bullying arm of Israel to carry out all of the Zionist agenda and policy. And if those who may be considering going into the military at this time, don't go. And if you are in the military at this time, find a way to get out, because America is digging herself deeper and deeper and deeper and spending all of these resources. And for what? This is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is doing to warn our people to come out of her, because she's bleeding it dry and then telling us that they don't have any money. As the man talked about how she dropped bombs in these strikes, and these missiles cost millions of dollars. And I think some of the last estimates that I read, they've spent over, that one strike alone cost over $200 million. But yet it would only cost $55 million to begin to replace the pipes in Flint. As I've also read, these people don't care about us. These people don't love us. We must now focus on ourselves and doing what needs to be done to build a new reality for ourselves. So in a nutshell, brother, I would have to say to all of your listeners, you have your computers, you have the ability to research. Go and read these things for yourself, and don't just believe what's being fed to you in the mainstream media, when the rest of the world, most of the world, understands that this is not right. It is wrong. And in fact, according to international standards, it is actually illegal. So again, I don't want to take up all of the time just on that, brother, but it is definitely deceit, and none of that which we are looking at should be trusted.
You made some very good points, brother. So basically, it almost sounds like the tactics it was used before, where what America does is they demonize the target to justify when they go in and do their illegal tactics, go steal the natural resources for their own benefit. They demonize who they want, so when they go in, it looks justified, like they did with Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden. They went on a smear campaign first, and then they went in. Then when they went in, it looked justified. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
It's going on with the
Absolutely. And that is the pattern. That is the modus operandi. This is how they move. And even the people in the land and abroad sometimes are deceived, and they just don't understand what they are happy about. Do you all remember that the image that was broadcast around the world when they tied up the trucks and put the means to pull that statue down in Iraq? Do you remember? And all of the people were celebrating when they toppled the statue. Do everybody, you remember that? Well, years later, the same people that pulled down the statue were interviewed and said that they regret the moment that took place, and that the devil that they knew is better than the devil that they did not know. Now they can't get rid of the American presence and the Western presence in Iraq, right? But they were happy when they got there. The world thought that this was a correct move. Our brother who took Libya from way, way, way down to become literally the greatest, wealthiest nation in Africa, and who is a friend and was a friend of not only the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, but a friend of the Nation of Islam, and in fact, a friend to Black people throughout the diaspora. But he was brutally assassinated. And now, look at Libya, a nation that once was so beautiful. Brother, these people have not changed. They have not changed. And not only do they do that, nations abroad, they're doing it even in our communities as we speak. They come into our communities, setting up people that we would look at and say, this is my leader. I would like to follow him and I would like to follow her. But if it doesn't fit America's interest, if it doesn't fit the wealth's interest, then we are made to turn on our own people so that they can come in and steal the resources even in our local communities. So to answer your question, brother, succinctly, which I have a hard time doing, yes, these people are thieves and robbers, and their way has not changed. And we are wasting our time believing that our 400-year-old enemy all of a sudden has decided that he would like to be our friend. I wouldn't believe anything that these people present to us, not me.
Right. Do you, I know it's hard to kind of gauge what people think, but just for the interview's sake, do you think our people in our community are in the mindset that America is not in the moral position to be judging the morality of another country based on what is going on presently, like the police brutality, Sandra Bland, Eric Gardner, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, on and on and on. Do you think our people are in a mindset that they are not in the moral position to be judging another country, or do you think our people think that this attack, because of the false propaganda, is justified?
Well, brother, here's the thing. The only people from among our people who believe this madness are either still ignorant, because we who have the knowledge, who have the understanding, are not working hard enough to enlighten them on the reality of what they're facing, for which we must share in the blame, or they do know the truth, but have unfortunately decided they will take the side of our enemy to gain a few little bit more trinkets of this world. Now, the masses of our people, once we learn a little bit, we can see and we understand and can comprehend right away, hey man, this is foul. This is rotten. Who are you to tell us? Who are you to go across the world trying to tell everybody else what to do? The majority of our people do understand this. It is just the unfortunate few who have decided that they will cast their lot with these demonic people to get a few little pleasures that they think is pleasure for a short time and sell out their own people to keep them giving the masses misinformation. But the more we share what's going on, the more our people find out the rottenness of what this government is doing. The more this happens, the more you see. Now, we may not have all of the resources that they have. We may not have the ability to get on the phone and conduct all of these polls and opinion lines and things of that nature. But we can get on social media and just go to different posts and run through the comments, right? And we can do our own little poll through sight. And we can see that our people are fastly becoming more knowledgeable and what's going on. And they just now need to find more ways that we can detach ourselves